The email lands in your inbox at 9:47 a.m. on a Tuesday. You're sitting in your studio apartment, a $100 a month box in a city where the average rent has doubled in 5 years, drinking instant coffee from a mug with a chip in the rim. The subject line reads, "Update on your application, Regional Sales Coordinator." You applied for this job 6 weeks ago. You've applied for 147 jobs in the last 4 months. You know the exact number because you tracked them in a spreadsheet that has become a monument to your own futility. Columns for company, position, date applied, status. The status column is a graveyard of no response, rejected after interview, and the occasional position filled. You open the email, it's a form rejection. We regret to inform you, you don't finish reading. You close the laptop. You stare at the wall. On the wall is your high school diploma, a single piece of paper in a $12 frame, awarded 6 years ago at a ceremony where your mother cried, and your father shook your hand, and everyone told you that you were ready for the world. The world, as it turns out, was not ready for you. This is level 1. Level 1, the high school diploma. You are invisible, not metaphorically, practically. Your resume is a PDF file that passes through applicant tracking systems like a ghost through a wall, read by no human, acknowledged by no one. You have the foundational credential, the bare minimum, the certificate that says you showed up for 12 years and didn't drop out. In the job market, this means you are qualified to be ignored in slightly more prestigious settings than someone without it. The jobs you can get are the jobs no one wants. Retail associate, food service worker, warehouse picker, call center agent. You work a series of these jobs in rapid succession, each one a temporary holding pattern, each one a reminder that you are replaceable. At the call center, you sit in a cubicle farm with 200 other agents, the air thick with the murmur of scripted apologies and the faint, sour smell of reheated microwave lunches. Your headset has been worn by 17 people before you, the ear cushion flattened to a greasy disc. You make $14.50 an hour. You are told when to arrive, when to break, when to eat, when to piss. Your schedule changes weekly, posted on a corkboard in the break room, and you have no say in it. Your manager is a woman named Brenda who has worked here for 15 years and speaks to you in the tone of someone addressing a mildly disobedient dog. She has a certificate on her wall, an associate's degree in business administration from a community college. That certificate, that single piece of paper, is the reason she's your boss and you're not. You try to climb. You apply for a shift supervisor position, a 75-cent raise, marginally less abuse. You have the experience, the attendance record, the performance metrics. The position goes to a new hire, a 22-year-old with a bachelor's degree in communications who has never worked a phone line in his life. When you ask why, HR sends you a boilerplate email about qualifications and competitive candidate pools. You understand for the first time that your diploma is not a qualification. It's a floor, and the floor is crowded. Level 2, the associate's degree. You go back to school. It takes 2 years of night classes, student loans, and a schedule that has you waking up at 6 a.m. for work and studying until midnight for exams. You earn an Associate of Applied Science in Business Administration from a community college, the same degree Brenda had, the same diploma that separated her from you. The graduation ceremony is in a gymnasium, folding chairs on a basketball court, your mother in the audience, crying the same tears she cried at your high school graduation. You frame the diploma. You update your resume. You start applying. The shift is immediate and disorienting. You are no longer invisible. You are now visible, but in a specific, limited way. The jobs you qualify for have titles like assistant manager, junior coordinator, administrative associate. You land a position at a mid-sized logistics company, working in the operations department. Your salary is $38,000 a year, which is $19,000 more than you made at the call center. You have a desk, a computer that doesn't crash when you open more than 3 tabs, and a supervisor who calls you by your name instead of a generic hey. You are still replaceable, but the pool of people who can replace you has shrunk. You feel something you haven't felt in years: hope. The ceiling appears quickly. You've been at the logistics company for 18 months. You're good at your job, your spreadsheets are clean, your reports are on time, your emails are professional. You ask your manager about a promotion to a senior role. He's honest with you in a way that is almost kind. You're capped at this level without a bachelor's. It's just policy. I can't override it. The senior role goes to a 25-year-old with a bachelor's in supply chain management and 6 months of experience. You have 2 years of experience and an associate's degree. The math doesn't add up, but it's not supposed to. The system is not designed to reward experience. It's designed to reward credentials. You stare at your associate's diploma, which now feels less like a key and more like a keychain. Something that opens a door, but not the door you want. Level 3, the bachelor's degree. You do the math. You're 28 years old. You have maybe 35 working years left. The gap between what you make and what you could make with a bachelor's degree is, over those 35 years, somewhere north of $800,000. That number haunts you. You enroll in a state university's online program, taking classes in the evenings, on weekends, during lunch breaks. It takes 3 years. It costs $27,000 in federal loans. The work is grueling: papers, group projects, proctored exams. But it's also, unexpectedly, transformative. You learn to think critically, to write persuasively, to analyze data and construct arguments. You earn a Bachelor of Science in Business Management, and when the diploma arrives in the mail, you cry. You have earned this. You have paid for this. You are now, on paper, educated. The job market that opens is fundamentally different from the one you left. You are now visible to the algorithms that screen resumes for bachelor's degree required, a phrase that appeared in roughly 40% of the job listings you used to scroll past with quiet despair. You apply for a regional operations manager position at a competitor company. You get the interview. You wear a suit that costs $300, more than you've ever spent on clothing, and you answer questions about leadership philosophy and strategic planning and conflict resolution with the confidence of someone who has spent 3 years preparing for exactly this conversation. You get the job. The salary is $67,000. You have a 401(a) with an employer match. You have dental insurance. You have an office with a door. The difference in treatment is a series of small cumulative adjustments that add up to something profound. People listen when you speak in meetings. Your opinions are solicited, not ignored. You are given problems to solve, not just tasks to complete. You are no longer a pair of hands. You are a brain, and brains are harder to replace. But the ceiling is still there, higher now, visible in the corner of your vision like a distant mountain range. Your boss has an MBA. Your boss's boss has an MBA. The executive team is a wall of advanced degrees, MBAs, JDs, a PhD in organizational psychology. You know, without anyone having to tell you, that your next promotion will require the next piece of paper. Level 4, the master's degree. You're 33 now. You've been in management for 3 years. You're good at it, but the climb has slowed, and the people passing you on the ladder all have one thing in common: 3 letters after their names. You enroll in an MBA program part-time at a university with a respected but not elite business school. It costs $48,000. Your employer covers $10,000 a year through tuition reimbursement. The rest is loans. The program is 18 months of case studies and financial modeling and networking events where you hand out business cards to people who hand you better business cards. You graduate with a 3.7 GPA and a new vocabulary: synergy, scalability, value proposition. You hate these words, you use them anyway. The MBA is a crowbar. It pries open doors that were previously sealed. You are recruited by a Fortune 500 company for a director-level position, Director of Regional Operations. The salary is $135,000, plus bonus, plus stock options that you don't fully understand but that your financial advisor says are competitive. You have a corner office on the 17th floor, floor-to-ceiling windows with a view of the downtown skyline. You have an executive assistant named Carla who manages your calendar and brings you coffee without being asked. You have a team of 12 people who report to you, and you try to be the manager you never had, the one who remembers names, who asks about families, who doesn't treat people like disposable tools. It's harder than you expected. The company has metrics, targets, quarterly earnings calls. Sometimes you have to be the bad guy. Sometimes you have to deny promotions to people who are in exactly the position you were in 10 years ago. You try to be kind about it. You're not always successful. The respect is intoxicating and hollow at the same time. You are invited to strategy meetings where you sit at a mahogany table with 12 other directors and VPs, and people nod when you speak, and your recommendations are implemented. You are a decision maker. But the decisions you're making are not your own. They're in service of shareholders, of the quarterly report, of the abstract, unfeeling machinery of the corporation. You have traded manual labor for cognitive labor, and the cognitive labor is just as exhausting in a different way. Your sleep is fragmented. Your weekends are interrupted by emails marked urgent. Your relationship with your spouse is strained. You missed your daughter's school play last month because of a last-minute board presentation, and the look on her face when you told her is a photograph burned into your memory. Level 5, the doctorate. The doctorate is not a strategic decision. You're 41. You've been a VP for 3 years, making $220,000 a year, and you're restless in a way that money cannot fix. The corporate world has become a series of repetitive patterns. The same meetings, the same PowerPoint decks, the same quarterly crises that are treated as existential threats, and then forgotten as soon as the numbers recover. You need something else. You enroll in a Doctor of Business Administration program, a 3-year commitment that your colleagues think is a midlife crisis. They're not entirely wrong. The DBA is different from the MBA. It's research-focused, theoretical, a deep dive into organizational behavior and economic systems and the philosophy of management. You write a dissertation on the psychological effects of credential inflation in the labor market, which is, you realize halfway through, essentially a study of your own life. You defend your dissertation in front of a panel of professors, your hands steady, your arguments sharp, and when they say congratulations, Doctor, the title feels like an exhale after a lifetime of holding your breath. The treatment you receive now is qualitatively different from anything before. You are no longer just a professional. You are an authority. You are invited to speak at conferences, to write articles for industry publications, to sit on advisory boards. Your opinions carry the weight of the letters after your name, and those letters function as a kind of shorthand. They tell people, before you've said a word, that you are credible, that you are expert, that you belong in the room. The irony is that you don't feel more knowledgeable than you were before the degree. You feel more aware of how much you don't know. The doctorate has taught you the depth of your own ignorance, and the world rewards you for it anyway. You leave the corporate world. You start a consulting firm, a boutique operation that advises companies on organizational structure and credential inflation. Your clients pay you $500 an hour for your insights, and the insights are mostly variations on a single theme. Stop hiring for credentials. Start hiring for competence. They nod. They take notes. They go back to their offices and post job listings that require a master's degree for a position that pays $50,000 a year. The machine is bigger than you. The machine is bigger than anyone. Level 6. The Credentialed Felfun. You're 52 years old, sitting in your home office, a converted sunroom with exposed brick and a view of a garden you planted yourself. The walls are lined with framed diplomas, high school, associates, bachelors, MBA, DBA. 5 pieces of paper, collectively worth north of $120,000 in tuition and 2 decades of effort. You are, on paper, one of the most qualified people in your field. You are also tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. A young woman messages you on LinkedIn. She's 24, a high school diploma, working retail, asking how to break into the business world. You write her a long reply, honest and detailed, explaining the path you took, and the pitfalls you encountered, and the things you wish someone had told you. You tell her that the credentials matter, but they matter less than she thinks, and that the real value of education is not the paper, but the perspective it gives you. You tell her that the system is broken but navigable, that the ceiling is real but movable, that she should fight for every inch and also, when she can, reach down and pull someone else up. You hit send. You lean back in your chair. You look at the garden, the flowers your wife planted, the small, quiet life you've built on the other side of the mountain. The diplomas catch the light. They're just paper. They were always just paper. The person who earned them, that's the part that mattered. That's the part that was always true, even when no one else could see it.